Hi, my name is Dylan Haire, and I'm running to serve as your state senator, and I'm asking for your vote in the general election on Tuesday, November 4th. I'm running for one very simple reason, which is to work hard for you, to fight for you, your family, and your community every single day. To give you a little background on who I am, I'll start the story with my mom. My mom was born in India and raised in England, and came to this country in the early 80s with just a few dollars in her pocket, a medical degree, and a flight booked down to Jackson, Mississippi, where she had her first job waiting for her. And it was with a relentless optimism and work ethic that she fought her way back up to Boston and started her own medical practice that she's had in Needham now for about 25 years. And I share that story with you because it's her story more than anything else that taught me the value of hard work and taught me the value of fighting for what you believe in. And what I believe in is simple. It's public service. That's why I spent my summers in high school interning for Senator Ted Kennedy. It's why I spent my time in college advocating for and tutoring students in low-income housing projects. It's why I spent my first internship in law school defending low-income families from eviction and foreclosure. It's why I served our Commonwealth as an assistant district attorney. And I've dedicated my career to serving those around me. But when I tell you I'll fight for you, you know that I will. I served as the youngest ever chair of the Natick Council on Aging and fought for elders and their families across our community. I earned my master in education at the same time as my law degree to learn how to be a stronger advocate for our public schools and teachers. I started my own law practice called Lawyer for Soldiers to fight for those who fought for us, representing veterans and military families in courts across the state. And it's this commitment to service, this willingness to fight for our shared values, that will motivate me as your state senator. And we have a number of challenges and opportunities in the years ahead. We need to continue to grow our economy. We need to measure its strength by its impact not just on bottom lines, but by its impact on you and your families. We need to renew and strengthen our commitment to public education. We need to invest in public transportation and in the services that people in this district rely on every single day. Throughout all this, however, we need to prioritize fiscal accountability, transparency, and efficiency. And we can do all of that if we work together. Now I encourage you to check out our website to learn more about me and about the issues you care about at dylanhaire.com. You can also contact us, and I urge you to do that. There's information on the website. Again, my name is Dylan Haire. I'm running to serve as your state senator, and I'm asking for your vote on Tuesday, November 4th.
Hi there, I'm Deb Goldberg, and I'm running for Massachusetts State Treasurer. I'm running for State Treasurer to give every woman, every man, every family the financial power and skills they need to get ahead in today's tough economy. Economic security and economic stability aren't just buzzwords to me. They're a personal mission. My mother's great-grandmother came halfway across the world to the north end of Boston and opened a little grocery store. It wasn't just about her family, my family. It was about all the immigrant families in the neighborhood. Together, she and those families grew into the food business that eventually became Stop and Shop. Stop and Shop was about economic stability, not just for one generation, but for 2, 3 generations at a time. I worked there, first as a retail clerk in 1445, the Union, and later on, after college, in executive positions after I attended BC Law School, and again after Harvard Business School. But we went through a takeover, and I saw a very different corporate model, not one I could live with. So I turned to the public sector, first focusing on issues facing women, children, and families. I am the president of an adoption agency. I'm an advisor at the Greater Boston Food Bank. The Senate President appointed me to the Commonwealth Covenant Fund that supports kids with tuition reimbursement in the Treasurer's office. As your state treasurer, I will use my background first from business, then in the nonprofit world, and later on when I went into public service, ran for local office in my own community to get things done for people. In my own community, I learned how to take my experience from the business world and make it work effectively in government. That isn't always easy. Became chairman of the Board of Selectmen and worked on things like the Fiscal Policy Review, the Audit Committee. I had weekly meetings as chairman with the town administrator focusing on the budget issues, making things happen for people in my own community. I take those skills to the treasurer's office. I have the right mix of private sector, public sector, and nonprofit to get the job done. And as your treasurer, not only will I do the job of the treasurer, and that's really an executive function. After all, many people ask, what does the treasurer do? Well, the treasurer's office is a large organization. 800 people work there. Debt management, cash management, unclaimed property, school building assistance, the lottery. A lot of different kinds of businesses go on in that office. Managing and investing the pension fund. All sorts of things that require a leader with executive experience. I will be able to do that because I have the right mix of skills. And what else will we do? We will lead on wage equality from day one. I will create a college savings plan for kindergartners at no cost to the taxpayer and create a statewide, robust financial literacy program, starting with the kids as early as elementary school and making sure by the time they graduate high school, they have the skills they need to not get themselves in serious debt. We will also have culturally sensitive programs that outreach within the communities, immigrant communities, women, veterans, because I know what went on in the subprime mortgage crisis, and we don't want to see that kind of thing happen to people again. I will be a treasurer that not only knows how to do all the functional sides of the treasurer's office, but also represents the values that so many of us here in Massachusetts care about. I'm Deb Goldberg. I would really appreciate your vote on November 4th. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Patricia St Aubyn, and I am the Republican candidate for statewide office of auditor. I'm a lifelong resident of Massachusetts. I was born in New Bedford and raised in South Dartmouth. I went to Bishop Stang High School in Dartmouth, and then I went on to Providence College, where I studied accounting. I was one of about 20 women that graduated in 1980 out of a class of 90 with a Bachelor's of Science in accounting. I then came up to Boston and canvassed my resume in the financial district, and I got a job in the asset-based lending group of the Shawmut Bank, the former Shawmut Bank. That's a very important job in commercial lending. Companies were loaning against their accounts receivable and their inventory. They were often cyclical businesses, and we went out and we audited those firms. I did that for roughly 4 years, and I was trained very well in the private sector on how to audit. I'm hoping to take that skill set to Beacon Hill and do a far better job for the taxpayer, because the state agencies that are under review by the state auditor's office are supported with taxpayers' dollars. First off, the election is November 4th, and I'm hoping for your vote. But to get back to the auditor's office, there are 375 agencies that should be audited once every 3 years. Originally, when the state auditor that's presently in the office came in 2011, it was required that those 375 state agencies be audited once every 2 years, which equated to about 187.5 audits on an annual basis the auditor's office should be performing. After a peer review done by the National States Auditors Association, the state auditor, upon review, said back in a letter of April 15th of 2011 that her office would have difficulty performing at that level. And she initiated discussions with the state legislature very quickly thereafter to change that law. It's Mass General Law, Chapter 11, Section 12. It was changed over the summer through the budgetary process of 2012. And what happened to that law? The 375 state agencies now are audited once every 3 years. That brings the benchmark down to 125 audits a year that the state auditor's office should be performing. So what are the results? Here's the chart. Here is Suzanne Bump, the present state auditor's results. The first year, she did 133 audits based upon the law, which was 187.5, and then it was changed the second year to 125. Joe DiNucci got her across the line with 133 because many of those audits were work in process, and she states so in the cover letter opening up the audit. In the second year after the law required her to do 125 audits on an annual basis, it went to 89. The third year it went to 64. And as of September 1st of 2014, there were 32 audits performed out of the state auditor's office. As of October 1st through the month of September, there were an additional 4 audits done. So a grand total of 36 audits have been performed. The benchmark is up here, 125 audits a year. Precipitously, these audits have gone downhill. I can do a better job for the taxpayer. I've done so professionally. I'm hoping for your vote on November 4th because these state agencies, all 375 of them, are supported with taxpayers' money. And we need to be looking at these audits a little bit more closely. I'd appreciate your vote on November 4th. My name is Patricia St Aubyn. It'll appear on the ballot just like this, SAINT-AUBIN. I do not abbreviate the Saint. Please remember to cast your vote for auditor for the Republican candidate, Patricia St Aubyn. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your vote.
Ask yourself, who is looking out for the interests of everyday people? What is the state doing that instead continues to make our environment unhealthy, especially for urban children? What is the state doing that helps create the huge immoral gap between low-income workers and the corporate elite, transferring wealth from those with less to those with a lot? Hello, my name is Lease, and I'm a Green Rainbow Party candidate for state auditor. On the ballot, you will see me listed as M.K. Lease. As state auditor, I would understand that the state's resources are more than financial. They are also human and environmental. Too often, we lose our human talents and lay waste to our planet. As a former department manager in both the nonprofit and corporate worlds, I bring the experience and judgment needed to be a champion for the people and to make sure all our resources are properly managed. The state auditor is in large part a watchdog position that needs to conduct honest and objective investigations into how the state government is using the state's resources. Because I'm not a part of either of the 2 major political machines on Beacon Hill, I can be the independent watchdog that Massachusetts needs. In addition, I'm not taking campaign contributions from lobbyists or offices of firms that lobby, the very lobbyists that might be hired to work for an organization being investigated. Auditing the state's finances involves more than number crunching. It's about the values we hold as a society, as well as the value of our tax dollar. The state has allocated $1 billion for biotech. I and my fellow Green Rainbow Party statewide candidates have proposed $1 billion for a community uplift initiative. What makes our initiative different is that people in economically distressed communities, those who know best their struggles, would be the ones to plan programs that create jobs and end poverty. Understandably, there are people concerned about what they call tax and spend policies. So it's important to make a distinction between spending and investing, between tax policies and a budget that benefit the extremely wealthy, rather than investing in the well-being of all people and our planet. For example, there's a lot of state-owned land, much of it along highways and at exit ramps. Instead of just accommodating cars and trucks, could highway land become a solar or wind farm, or be used to grow vegetables? Well, let's find out. It costs about $45,000 a year to house someone in prison. More than half the jail population aren't even convicted, but can't afford bail. Plus, many are in for nonviolent drug offenses. Yet to accommodate them, we're being asked to build more jails. Instead of spending $45,000, wouldn't it make much more sense to invest that money in treatment and training? That would benefit not only the individual, but families, neighborhoods, and society as a whole. We often hear the phrase, "Speak truth to power." The great African-American author Alice Walker said, "The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any." In short, we can speak truth from our power as well as to power. As caring human beings, we have the ability to call on the power of love, to say we have the power of community, that we can make the dream work with teamwork. We can speak from our power of love for people and the planet. For voters, that means also exercising the power of the vote and voting for the values you want instead of what you're told you can get. There's so much cynicism about the power of corporate money on elections that many people don't bother to vote. That's dangerous, because without voting, there's no democracy. I ask for your vote for Mayor Lease for State Auditor, November 4th. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Peter Collins. For the past 20 years, I have had the honor, privilege, and good fortune to serve as your county commissioner. My background is that I am a lifelong Milton and Norfolk County resident. I am married to my beautiful wife, Brigitte, and we have 2 young boys, ages 8 and 10. They are in the 2nd and 5th grades in the Milton Public Schools. I graduated from Boston College High School, the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, and Suffolk University Law School. I've been a practicing attorney in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for the past 28 years. I have my own business, a law office of Collins & Collins, located in Quincy. I specialize in the field of workers' compensation, and I help injured workers receive the benefits they are entitled to by law every day. When I first ran for county commissioner, I promised we would run the county like a business. Every dollar would be accounted for. I am proud to say, for the last 20 years, the Norfolk County budget has always been in the black, even during tough economic times. We never went past our reserves to pay our bills. The county is made up of 28 cities and towns, from Brookline to Bellingham to Cohasset. County government is regional government. We provide services that are too large for a city or town to handle and too small for the state to properly manage. The county owns and operates 5 district courts: Wrentham, Stoughton, Quincy, Brookline, and Dedham. We also own and operate the Superior Court, the Registry of Deeds, and the county administration buildings in Dedham. All these buildings and all the courthouses have undergone substantial rehabilitation and renovation over the past 20 years, and this process continues. The county owns and operates the President's Golf Course located in Quincy and Milton. The public course, clubhouse, and tennis courts are a green oasis in a densely populated area. The course has won many awards and is an excellent facility, modestly priced, so all can afford to play. After all expenses and yearly renovations, the course brings a profit to the county between $50,000 and $100,000 per year. The jewel of Norfolk County is the Norfolk County Agricultural High School, located on 350 acres in Walpole. We have approximately 500 students this year, which is 100 more than when I started 20 years ago. The Aggie has just undergone $30 million of construction and renovation, and we are proud to say we have the finest agricultural high school in the nation. Since the MCAS test started several years ago, every student at the Aggie has passed the test. This 100% pass rate is an outstanding accomplishment for any school, But for a vocational high school, this is an incredible achievement shared by the students and teachers. The county provides engineering and traffic count services to our cities and towns. In fact, there are hundreds of miles of county roads laid out by the county engineering department. We run the federally funded Retired Senior Citizens Volunteer Program, which matches hundreds of retired seniors and their expertise to the needs of their local communities. Our Veteran Services Agent backs up and assists the veterans agents and the veterans within the county. These are just a few of the many regional services the county provides. The county employees and county officials do a terrific job with little fanfare and no scandals. The county has a AA bond rating, which is an excellent rating for any municipality. We just secured legislation passed unanimously by the House and Senate, which shall ensure the county's financial future for years to come. Thank you for your votes of confidence in electing me as your county commissioner for the past 20 years. I respectfully ask for your vote in the upcoming election to continue to serve you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Soder, candidate for Norfolk County Commissioner. On November 4th, we have a clear choice for county government. We could stay with the status quo, or we can bring change, not just for the sake of change, but to bring transparency, new vision, and new ideas to county government. As a Board of Selectmen member, I know the struggles that we go through with local aid to all our cities and towns. County government should be able to step up and become a voice and work with our cities and towns on ways that we can try to save money together, taxpayers' money. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. As a selectman, I made hefty promises in 2011. Some of those promises were to build a new police station without a debt exclusion or an override, to invest in our fire department without an override, to invest in education without an override, and to build a community where our seniors know that our elected officials care about them and come up with plans so that they can afford to stay in their homes. And also build a thriving economy in Bellingham so that we can create jobs so that our residents have positions that they can be proud of. Let me tell you how we've done. In April, we broke ground on a new police station with no debt exclusion and no override. We've invested in 24/7 staffing of our fire department, again, with no override. We've increased our tax work-off dollars to our senior citizens so that our senior citizens can stay in those homes that they've worked so hard to keep and pay for. And we've also invested in 4 new police officers in this budget without an override. And I'm proud to say that we've invested in education over $2.2 million over the last 2 years without an override. This is leadership. Leadership that sits down with different points of view and brings people at the table to get things done. At Norfolk, when I become Norfolk County Commissioner, I promise you this: I will make our government transparent. I will take that government within a government attitude and bring transparency so that everyone feels proud of the Norfolk County government system. And I will work with every city and town. I will work hard every day for the communities that I represent in Norfolk County to make sure that we can bring home tax dollars that will help us grow, that will help cities and towns thrive. We need this for our residents and our municipalities of Norfolk County. I promise you that I will work hard every day to make you proud of the fact that Norfolk County is one of the best counties in Massachusetts. On November 4th, I respectfully ask for your vote, and I want to leave you with this one message. Think, when was the last time a county commissioner asked for your vote? On November 4th, I'm asking for yours. I hope that you'll give me the chance to represent you in November. Thank you.
Hello, I am Marilyn Putito Divini, and I'm proud to serve as your governor's counselor. Thank you for your support and your vote in the September election. Now I am respectfully asking for your vote on November 4th. As many people do not know what councilors do, I am pleased to have the opportunity to do so now. First of all, on your ballot, you'll only see the word councilor. The word governors does not precede it. Unfortunately, this can only be changed by the legislature. First of all, there are 8 councilors. I am the District 3 councilor. My district consists of 32 towns and cities from Haire to Back Bay. My district is larger than your congressional district. We are the only elected body as the checks and balances for the governor's judicial appointments, directly accountable to you. We have no president, no speaker, chair, no committees. We are all independent, serving the public. The council votes on the nominees that the governor submits for their vote by advice and consent. Council has its investigation and holds a governor's council hearing for that nominee. We vote on judges, clerk magistrates, members of the parole board, industrial accident board, industrial accident advisory board, appellate tax board, commutations, pardons, justice of the peace, notaries, and public administrators. The council meets weekly with the governor to vote on the state warrant, all the expenditures the state has incurred in that week, and we vote on the nominees and other matters. The councils have no staff, so that it is up to each of us to do our own investigation and due diligence. I meet with every nominee as part of that process. I have 100% attendance. I do not accept travel expenses because you don't get paid to drive to work. We hold hearings 12 months a year, as many in July as we have in December. Governor's Council takes no vacation. At the present time, the governor has presented 14 new nominees. I am presently meeting with each and investigating to ensure they are honest, well qualified, experienced, have the correct demeanor and temperament. Now, why did I run for Governor's Council? Years ago, my friend was in a physical, abusive relationship with a boyfriend. I don't know why women get involved with such men. It is not for me to judge. She feared for her life, and she took out a restraining order against him. She went to court a number of times seeking help. The 8th time she went to court, she was accompanied by a police officer who supported her. He testified before the judge about this dangerous man who he had seen 8 times in court. Judge gave the boyfriend a $200 bail, and he was out of the door before the police officer. The judge reprimanded my friend and told her she was taking up his time in the court's time. 2 weeks later, my friend was dead. Her boyfriend murdered her. I didn't know at that time how judges got their jobs. I found out that the governor's counselors approved the governor's appointments. I ran for governor's council and was elected 15 years ago, and I vowed there would never be a judge like this on my watch. I promised reforms on the council, and I kept my word. To name just a few, when I first got elected, councilors were accepting political donations from the nominees they were voting on, right in time until the time they voted. I successfully have, in the governor's executive order, prohibiting judicial nominees from contributing to governor's counselors when applying. When I saw that there were all prosecutors on the parole board, I investigated, and I found the board was not in compliance to the state statute for over 30 years. I made changes. We now, for example, have an expert member who can identify inmates' mental health issues and learning disabilities. This is vital for an inmate to re-enter society successfully. I established the first Governor's Council website for the public, showing all the boards and commissions we vote on and their duties and terms. Also is listed all the nominees from the governor and the date and time of their public Governor's Council hearings at the State House. I have nominees and witnesses sworn in at the Governor's Council hearings. I am proud of the historic votes I have taken, just alone on the Supreme Judicial Court, the highest court in Massachusetts. I voted the first African-American man as Chief Justice, Justice Island, the first gay member, Justice Link, the first Asian, Justice Duffley, the first African-American woman, Justice Hines, and the first Jewish Chief Justice, Judge Gantz. I voted because they were highly qualified, experienced, respectful, with a proper demeanor and temperament. I believe the judges should reflect the people who come into the court, and these fine judges reflect that in Massachusetts. Now I have another election, and I will appear again on your ballot on November 4th. I love what I do, and I find it so rewarding to serve you. I am so proud to represent you, and with every vote I take, I am mindful that I am your voice on the council. I ask respectfully again for your vote to continue to work for you. Marilyn Putito Divini, Counselor, on your ballot. I can always be reached at 617-840-7689. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Hi, Wellesley. My name is Tom Sheff, and I'm an independent running for Massachusetts Governor's Council in District 3. District 3 includes parts of Wellesley in precincts A, C, D, E, and H. The Governor's Council is a popularly elected board which must give the governor advice and consent with respect to nomination of judicial appointments, clerkships, and parole board members. I was born and raised in Newton, Massachusetts. I graduated from Clark University in 1986 with a BA degree in government. After college, I attended law school in Michigan. After law school, I was office manager for the family law firm for years, where I developed an appreciation for the legal system. My responsibilities in the law firm were dealing with lawyers and judges on a daily basis, researching case law, and managing the day-to-day operations of an extremely high-profile and successful law firm. Most recently, I'm co-founder of the newly formed Second Life Computers. If you don't know what the Massachusetts Governor's Council does, then you're not alone. Most people don't have a clue. The reason why most people don't know anything about the Governor's Council is that there's no attempt on behalf of the Council to communicate with their constituents. If elected, I plan to communicate with my constituents through quarterly letters to the editor of local newspapers, keeping my website current, setting up a blog for people to voice their constructive comments, and videotaping open hearings, so the average person can view what happens in the open hearings without going into the State House. Hopefully, this should lead to transparency and accountability, which will create more trust and knowledge regarding the institution and government in general. Over the years, the Council has been very divisive and disruptive to the process. The Globe called the Governor's Council a circus. The Boston Herald said, another example of politics pushing decency aside. And WBUR said, the meetings have gotten contentious and sometimes crazy. My opponent has been in the middle of every skirmish that occurs within the Council. If elected, I will treat each nominee with dignity and respect, be accessible to all the constituents, and work collaboratively with all my colleagues. I feel very strongly that a dysfunctional Governor's Council is not only an embarrassment for the district, but it discourages good candidates from seeking judicial appointments and contributes to a general dissatisfaction with government. It is the law and the interpretation of it that keeps us civilized and brings order to chaos. One must understand that how judges and parole boards rule affect everyone in society. One of the most important responsibilities of the job is to evaluate attorneys who will eventually become judges. I have a legal background while my opponent has none. I would imagine that having the background would come in handy when evaluating attorneys. As an independent and an independent thinker, if elected, I promise to thoroughly interview and vet each candidate vigorously and ask the tough questions. I'm not beholden to a political party, so I won't be getting or giving any political favors. I'm truly an independent, looking out for the best interests of you, the people. I feel I have a rare combination of education, legal experience, and entrepreneurship that make me a perfect fit for the Governor's Council. Now I'm looking to take my unique accomplishments and ideas to the State House to do all that I can to make Massachusetts the best state it can be. This election's not about me. It's about you and what you want. If you want the same old dysfunctional, divisive Governor's Council, then keep voting for my opponent. But if you're looking for positive change, real positive change, then I would appreciate your vote. I can't do this by myself. I need your help. hopefully on November 4th. Please vote for me, Tom Sheff, for Governor's Council in District 3. For more information, please go to www.votetomsheff.com. Thank you very much.